Experienced witches and magicians will often tell you to time your spells according to what's going on in the sky. So, like the phases of the moon, and whether it's the day of Jupiter or the day of Venus, or whether you're doing magic in the hour of Mercury, or in the hour ruled by a particular angel, everyone experienced in the craft will tell you that you need to time your magical work in harmony with the day or the hour that the particular angel, planet, or deity that you're going to work with is most dominant. But at the time, I didn't really understand why I needed to do that. It took me a couple months to really grasp how important this advice is. Back then, I did spells without really taking into account the outside forces going on around me. Like, if I wanted to do a spell, I was going to do it regardless of the phases of the moon or the astrological things going on. I was pretty impatient. But what I didn't realize was that what was happening in the cosmos directly affected our experience on Earth. Like the famous Hermetic saying, as above, so below. It's a truth that really affects us on a deeper level than we realize, and as long as we don't understand that, we are a victim of our circumstances. I noticed that projects I began on a waning moon didn't really hold up, and spells cast on the wrong day did not manifest. All this made me wonder about what time really means, and why it was so important to time our spells on the right day. One day, I had an epiphany that maybe the passage of time indicated the change of dimensional dominions. And what I mean by that is that maybe, by each passing of time, a different dimension is given rulership and influence over the material plane. And in that dimension are all of the beings that resonate with its energy. So on the day of the sun, which is Sunday, the dimension of all beings who resonate with sun energy, such as Ra, Apollo, Archangel Michael, the Christ, those beings who come from that dimension have greater influence on the physical world. That is why magic that requires their energy is more effective when you cast it on their day, because they are already here in the physical world interacting with it. It's like their dimension is open to us. And when the next day comes and Sunday turns to Monday, the dimension of the sun closes and the dimension of the moon opens. So those beings associated with the moon, like Diana, Hecate, Mother Mary, and the Archangel Gabriel, they have influence over the material realm now. And so it goes with the next day, when the dimension of the moon closes and the dimension of Mars opens for Tuesday. This is how the passage of time opens up different dimensions for us. In regards to astrology, the transits that the planets make seem to create events in our life depending on what those transits in certain houses and zodiac signs mean. So if the moon is transiting your 7th house, it can mean a variety of things will happen to you at that time. It all depends on what the moon means and what the house means. So the moon means emotions, nurturance, comfort, intuition, femininity, and the mother. And 7th house represents relationships, partnerships, contracts, and other people in general. So the moon transiting your 7th house could mean that you will enter into a relationship with someone who makes you feel loved and comforted. It could also mean that you will meet people who will take care of you and help you grow. Or you will gain a business partnership with a company related to motherhood. There are countless ways to interpret the meaning of these transits. So in order to manifest your desire, you need to time your spell, magical working, or intention setting with a compatible astrological transit. So if you're looking to gain prosperity from a business idea, set the intention for when the moon is in your 2nd house, which represents gain from hard work, your 8th house, which represents gain from other people, or in your 11th house, which is gain from customers, clients, or groups of people. A really good time is also when Jupiter transits your 1st, 2nd, 8th, or 11th house. If you desire to manifest a relationship, time your intention when the moon is in your 5th house, which represents romance, or your 7th house, which represents relationships, or if your Venus, the planet of relationship, enters your 5th or 7th house. funny thing because one month when I checked my astrological transits at the beginning of the month, I saw that the full moon was going to be in my 7th house. So I set an intention to manifest a relationship on that day of the full moon. By the way, if you want to manifest something, it's best to do it when the moon is still waxing. And what I didn't do was that I didn't expect to have a relationship by the time the moon entered my 7th house, but rather I casted my spell when the moon entered my 7th house. And by the way, this is how your intention gets to the right destination. If you cast a love spell on a day when you should actually be casting a career spell, then it's like you're sending mail to the wrong person. The gods that govern career may not know how to bring you a lover. So when I set an intention on that day, where I had the full moon in 7th house, literally overnight a friend of mine turned into a boyfriend. It was not what I expected, but in the end, the universe gave me what I asked for. So there is a possibility that if you cast the spell or set an intention at the right time, you can manifest it really quickly. I'll put out a disclaimer though. How fast it manifests is directly affected by what has already been happening for you. And I've been talking to this friend a couple times already before he suddenly turned into my boyfriend. So if you've been wanting to manifest a relationship, you need to already be talking with some people. You can't just sit at home and talk to nobody and expect to get a relationship request at your doorstep. That's not how magic works, okay? If you want to manifest riches, you need to already be saving money and starting a business or investing in something legit to actually manifest it for real, you see. You have to meet the universe halfway. It's a combined effort between you and the spiritual forces you call upon. So with that being said, I hope you start to align your spellcasting, intention setting, summoning on days that are aligned with your will, because that's how you can start to see results in your magic. It's very important to take into account the phase of the moon and the astrological transits. You can even consider the days or even the hour to get more specific and powerful results. But in the end, what's most important is if you get the moon face down and the planets on point. I hope this has been helpful for you, and I wish you all a blessed week.